you should know that we have your back. You have always had mine, and I'm very thankful for your support. I'm thankful for all of the leaders who are assembled here today to make sure that we invest in our first responders, in fire and EMS, and of course in law enforcement as well. The commissioner noted this in her comments about the local support that's necessary to ensure that we have strong public safety in a community. And she's right about that. I know you serve as the public safety liaison for our 3 commissioners. She is right. I know the mayor and council invest heavily there as well. But the state needs to be strong partners in that effort as well. I know Senator Judy Ward is, Representative Jim Gregory, who joins us from a neighboring district, is, and certainly I am as well. I think people in Pennsylvania have a right to be safe and feel safe. And in order to be safe and feel safe, you need to know when you make that 911 call, it'll be answered in a timely manner. You need to know that that trained operator is prepared to dispatch fire, EMS, police, mental health services, whatever is necessary in order to deal with that acute incident. And in order to do that, the Commonwealth needs to be an even stronger partner to local leaders like those who are assembled behind me. That's why about 3 weeks ago, I unveiled my first budget as governor. And I believe it was a common sense budget. I remarked during that budget that I was standing before the General Assembly, of which Senator Ward is a member, Representative Gregory, and others, and flanking me behind me were 2 women who were history makers. One, the woman leading the House of Representatives, the Democratic House Speaker, and the other, a woman leading the State Senate of Pennsylvania, a Republican leader known as the President Pro Tem. And I remarked that nothing gets done in Harrisburg unless it passes her chamber and her chamber. And I said that purposefully because I think it's important for everyone to note that I'm bringing bipartisan solutions to the table, and I'm keenly aware that unless we bring Republicans and Democrats together, we're not going to get anything done. That's why I proposed a common sense budget, a budget, by the way, that's $3 billion more fiscally conservative than what the accountants in Harrisburg, known as the Independent Fiscal Office, regard as a conservative budget. So we have a conservative budget, one that seeks to bring Democrats and Republicans together, but one that also makes critically important investments. And so I came here today to Altoona to talk about one of those really important investments, and that is to invest in fire and EMS and other first responders. Public safety has long been a top priority of mine. The commissioner alluded to the fact that I used to serve as a county commissioner in Montgomery County. And when I was there, we actually invested over $40 million in a new radio system to ensure that all of our law enforcement and first responders could communicate. As you know, I then served as Attorney General together with Councilman Ellis. He used to serve as the chief in our agency, where we made other important investments in law enforcement and supported first responders. I know, as I said before, that local law enforcement is on the front lines of making sure people are safe, but I'm also well aware that the Commonwealth needs to be a stronger partner. Since my budget address a few weeks ago, I've traveled all across our Commonwealth, listening to Pennsylvanians about their needs, and coming back here to Altoona today to listen to your chief and your deputy chief, and to listen to your arson canine in the way in which she can communicate, to learn more about the needs that are here, making sure that we support you with your daily needs on technology and equipment, and also making sure we work with you, the senator and I, representatives and others, to figure out how we can put the resources together to make sure that we've got a training facility right here in Altoona. The funding for our first responders is critical. We know that Altoona Fire Company is basically fully staffed, and that's a terrific thing. But that's somewhat of an anomaly across this Commonwealth. So many other departments across Pennsylvania, as our acting fire commissioner will tell you, are understaffed. And that doesn't mean that here in Altoona, we can just sort of ignore the fact that other departments are understaffed, because when they're understaffed, it puts a greater burden on the men and women, some of whom you see here, who assemble here in Altoona, having to pick up for where others are unable. Career fire departments across Pennsylvania are struggling to keep up. And of course, volunteer firefighters are as well. Consider this, in 2018, the last time we had a comprehensive statewide survey, there were 22,000 fewer volunteer firefighters than we had in the early 2000s. 22,000 fewer in basically 20 years. And at the same time, we've seen a decrease of 6,000 EMS compared to just 10 years ago in our Commonwealth. We have to act now. We have to make sure that those resources are delivered so that our communities can be safe. All of this, the workforce shortages and the lack of resources, puts a strain on the hardworking firefighters like those who are assembled here today. We've also seen at the same time staffing has decreased, dramatically increased costs that the chief was referring to earlier for trucks and critical equipment like helmets and coats and pants and boots and hoods. All of that has gone up. And by the way, we are going to work together to make sure we get PFAS out of the equipment that we're asking you to wear. We're already on that issue. We look forward to continuing to partner with you. So we have to make sure we're investing in fire and in EMS. And I would note as well, we are going to invest in our 911 systems. They're understaffed by about 20% across this Commonwealth, and as the Commissioner alluded to before, they're all run by our counties. We have to make sure that we get them back to a proper level. The costs of running those have gone up 23%, staffing is down 20%, and my budget would invest an additional $50 million and create a fund that keeps up with inflation so we never again have to worry about decreased costs in our 911 system. When it comes to fire, this budget will invest a new $36 million for equipment that will come out directly to local facilities like those here in Altoona. That will increase our investment to nearly $130 million statewide. These are smart investments. At a time when we can put forth a fiscally conservative budget, we can also afford to make critical investments in public safety, and that's what I'm proposing to do. In addition to that, my budget invests in something called the Municipal Assistance Program. I don't expect folks to know what that is. Let me tell you what that means. For too long, Harrisburg has reached out to local commissioners and mayors and dictated to you how your services should be combined, maybe how municipalities can work together. Instead of doing that, I'm taking a different approach, creating a fund in Harrisburg that incentivizes cities, towns, boroughs, municipalities to work together to streamline their efforts, to work together to share resources, to work together to make sure that our townships and others can combine services for the betterment of our citizens. So having more resources available in Harrisburg to all of you to do that work, rather than dictating to you how to do that work, we think will have a positive effect when it comes to public safety as well. We have to do a better job of coordinating and combining services. Listen, for too long, partisanship has kind of ruled the day in Harrisburg. I know I've been frustrated by it. I don't mean to speak for you, Senator. I'm sure you've been frustrated by it. There are lots of ways we can come together around common sense ideas that move our Commonwealth forward. Public safety, first responders, this is an area where we should be finding common ground, where we should be making real investments while also ensuring a conservative budget that doesn't raise taxes for any Pennsylvanian. We can do this work together. And I'm proud to be here in Altoona today to talk about this, not just because this is a community in need, but importantly because this is a community that has shown us the way. The professional firefighters here know what they're doing. Your city council, your mayor, your county government, your state officials, all working together in unison and harmony around a simple message that people have a right to be safe and feel safe, and together we are going to do that important work.